Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Matchbook Horse Racing Podcast. It is Grand National time, so we are coming to you the day before the race. We know exactly what's lining up, and it's all getting pretty exciting, I think, for the Randox Grand National. Charlie Poste is at Aintree currently. We know where Steve Jones is. He's in his little hideaway. But hopefully back in lots of winners. And I'm in Dubai, so there we are. Very sad not to be at Aintree this year, but there you are. It won't clash each and every year. We'll get into the Grand National very shortly. I want to remind you to like and subscribe and follow, please, as the best no-cost way of supporting all of our content. And also a reminder of the offer currently where you can bet 50 and get 50 in free bets. That's using the code POD50. Head to the website. All the T's and C's are there. Right, Charlie Poste. Straight over to you for the Randox Grand National. I apologise. I'm in full agreement with you for this one. I can just see it written that they didn't win it. JP and Gavin Cromwell with a horse who'd have probably got off 7 to 4 the Gold Cup winner because he didn't run, but they won it anyway. Percival Legalwa.
Yeah, definitely, Tom is in. I just think Gavin Cromwell, he needs no introduction. Brilliant trainer, brilliant target trainer. And this horse just looks primed for it. You know, he won the Paddy Power handicap chase at Leopardstown, big field, 27 runners that day, creeped through it under Mark Walsh and bolted up. And then he went and took out a listed handicap hurdler back at Leopardstown again, massive field. So he's got all those credentials. I think he's going to relish this extra Marna bidding trip. He's won on goodish ground, so I don't think that's against him. I just think there's so many positives for that. And the fact that he's 13.0, yeah, I'm all over this horse, in all honesty.
I like that. Let's. I came away, sorry, producer Dan, from our betting pretty quickly. So let me just bring you the matchbook market currently for the Randox Grand National with I Am Maximus 8.0, Iroko 9.4, Stumptown 11.5, and their Percival Legalwa 14.5 can be backed at, Hewick 15.5. Intense Raffle 16.0. I don't want to add much to Percival Legalwa. I also want to see what Senior Chief is on the exchange, if we can get down there. There you go, 51.0. I'll definitely have a little bit of Senior Chief on side as well. He's got a similar sort of profile. I feel like I want to look for a younger progressive horse. He had a spin over hurdles last time and the cheap pieces go back on. I wasn't certain about him at the trip, and then I watched Newbury back, and you know he looked as though he was going to be 9th or 10th, and he did keep on into 6th. I think he definitely wants better ground. That was certainly my takeaway from last year, anyway, where he didn't seem to handle it at Fairyhouse. So he should get at the ground. I don't think there'll be any excuse for him here. I could have easily had Intense Raffles as well, but I didn't want to put more up. So yeah, those are my two against the field. Percival Legalwa, the main one, Senior Chief as well. Steve, just trying to confirm your price. There we are, 30 on the exchange for Meeting of the Waters. Why?
Well, he's been well beaten behind Percival Legalwa twice this season, including in that listed hurdle at the Dublin Racing Festival. Before that, he'd finished in midfield in the big handicap chase at Christmas at Leopardstown when ridden by a young conditional. He'd won that race 12 months previously, and when he won it, he'd already had 3 runs that season, including winning at Cork. So he's clearly been laid out for this, because that was his first start of the season. And if you go back to last season when he won that big handicap chase at Leopardstown at Christmas, the next day, Patrick Mullins and his cousin Danny got into a pointing and shouting after a race. I can't remember where the race was when they were in the finish. I think it was Gaelic Warrior. And that was all to do with this horse, because I think Patrick Mullins thought that Danny Mullins shouldn't have won so far, and they'd blown the handicap mark, and he was unable to run in the Kim Muir at Cheltenham, which Patrick Mullins wanted to win. But he's got to win the Grand National 12 months later anyway. He was dropped in distance to 2 miles 6 last time, raced very wide. Again, he was ridden by conditional Aidan Kelly. And I think he's just been lined up for the Grand National from a long way out, Meeting the Waters. I think he ran in it last season, but he'd had a hard season. And he finished 7th. He was almost, well, he was bang there at jumping the last. He just got in tight to the last. and lost the momentum, and Iron Maximus stormed away his stablemate. But he ran really well, and he was only a 7-year-old. Well, until Noble Yates won as a 7-year-old. 7-year-olds had a terrible record. And the Grand National isn't a race for a 7-year-old. He's a year stronger. He's been aimed at the race. And I think he's got an excellent chance. It's Willie Mullins again, isn't it? Who I think Manila Kakuna might run really well as well. But Meeting the Waters, I really fancy.
Okay, Limerick is where it was, I believe. Mr. Hussey, our esteemed producer, has confirmed. So, Percival Le Gaulois, 14.5 for Charlie and I. Senor Chief, 51.0 as well for me. And Meeting of the Waters at 30.0 for Steve Jones. There we are. Did you want to give honourable mentions to any others? But feel free to do so right now if you would like to, but you don't have to, Steve.
Well, I did say Manila Kakuna. I've had a bit of a checkered relationship with this horse, but having won the big end of season race at Sandown last year, he's got the stamina. If you go back, he was second in the Albert Bartlett, which was when I fell out with him, and at Punchestown he was second to a stablemate as well, both times the nice guy. He's got class, he stays, he's fine on the ground, and he's got a decent jockey in Johnny Burke, so he would be my other suggestion.
Charlie, any other honourable mentions?
Not for me, really, Tom. JP McManus has got a ridiculously strong hand in this race. And yeah, I mean, Johnny Burke, as Steve said, good jockey. I wonder if Paul Nicholls agrees with you right now. But yeah, it could be an interesting result. I suppose if he takes the National out, it was a justified switching of his rides, wasn't it?
You're allowed to switch if you're technically onto a better one, aren't you? So there you go. All right, that's us done for the Randox Grand National. Let's move on, and we're going to go back in time now to the first race of the day, 3-mile handicap hurdle here. Steve, I'll come straight back at you with the biggest price of the lot, 17.0. In fact, I'll confirm it. Let me just confirm it here while we've got the exchange up, if I can. So this is Kamzinas. I don't know if we've gone past.
Hold the line, caller.
18.5. 18.5. There you go for Kamzinas. Go on, make your case.
Yeah, well, we just mentioned Johnny Burke. He rides Kamzinas, who I think is going to love stepping up to 3 miles. He did that last time at Doncaster, but it was in a steadily run race. And although he was only beaten a length, he's going to need to improve on that, but he will in this bigger field, stronger pace. He does seem at his best when he's ridden quite patiently, which is often a help in this race. He won first time up this season on good ground at Aintree, over 2.5. Since then, he's run sound races, but he's just finding the distance too short. He was a Grade 2 winner as a novice last season over 2 miles. He's going to come good over 3 and prove that he's that going up in distance in a strongly run race is going to improve him. So I think he's got an extremely good chance.
Okay, Charlie, who are you with?
I'm with Timmy Tuesday. I agree with Steve, though. I think Kamzinas is interesting. Catching Derry also, really competitive contest. But came down with Gordon Elliott's horse. 2 from 2 in handicaps. Been bored along gently through novice hurdles. Runs behind Jasmine DeVoe. Final Demand. Started off of 118. Bolted up at Ayr. Ran well enough at Exeter against Accelero. Back in a novice hurdle. Jumped left quite a lot, which took away from his chance. And then won last time out at Down Royale, in spite of, again, jumping out to his left. Should be well suited by this left-handed track. I think the step up half a mile in trip is going to suit him seriously well, and just looks like one that's still ahead of his mark off 135 for Gordon Elliott, who had Woodoo go seriously well yesterday, so the horse are in good order as well.
And I am going for Act of Authority off the back of a really good run last time. I think he properly bumped into one. I guess that was borne out with Woodoo yesterday. She obviously ran a really good race, and Lewis Saunders he keeps the ride, taking a useful 7 off. I think he's well worth that, and I think the trip could be exactly what he wants. I thought it's really obvious and a bigger price than I thought the horse would be. At 10.0, I wonder if there's a slight reaction. Looking at some of the markets and some of the prices of the horses that come out of Cheltenham, I feel like there's, and I don't know if it's overplayed or not, there's a view that, some of the Cheltenham horses, this might be a little bit tight. And maybe it will be for some of them, but you've got to take it on an individual basis. But I thought Active Authority was overpriced in the opening race of the day. Active Authority, Camden Timmy Tuesday. Right, Mersey Novices Hurdle then, 155. Charlie, you are keeping the faith with Lulamba, excuse me.
Yes, mate, definitely am. I mean, look, he got beat in the Triumph by Poniros, mugged him late on, 2-1 on the new course, stamina track. 2-4 should suit him well on this flat track. They obviously bypassed the juvenile hurdle for this extra half mile, and he gets the handy weight straight for age allowance in off 10-11. Still think he's a very good horse. Poniros could be anything, and I just think the form that he brings to the table is significantly better than the opposition. For all there's a lot of unexposed horses stepping up in grade, he's a genuine grade 1 performer. He's only going to get better. He looks a massive big scopy horse. This trip should suit him great. I think the flat track will be right up the street as well. And yeah, I see no reason to be deserting this horse on the back of being beaten neck at Cheltenham.
It was a really good run. I'm going to chance Good and Clever. It was very much win and place 26.0. Obviously was hammered at the DRF by the subsequent Supreme winner, but we know that's a good bit of form. I definitely think the extra distance will help. It's really hard to see him beating Lulamba, obviously, but I thought 26.0 with enough runners in there. I thought win and place, that was a very fair shout. So I'll have a nice probably place go at him in the main. I thought he was underestimated. And Steve?
Yeah, I don't think it's that obvious that Lulamba, because we're going to find out. I suppose the question is, how strong is the juvenile form? How strong is the open novice form? And I think getting beat by an unraced horse off level weights at Cheltenham doesn't do it for me, to be honest. Although an unraced over hurdles. Did win over 2-3 round or toy Lulamba, but again, stepping up in distance, that doesn't always translate. British, it's like people saying, "Oh, it's won a 3 mile point to point, so he's going to have loads of stamina." It doesn't work like that. And so I think he's too short, Lulamba. Personally, I think it's all down to hype. Okay, the stars aren't in this grade 1, but Horace's Pearl won at the meeting last year in the bumper. That bumper's worked out incredibly well. Had Good and Clever back in third in that occasion. Tripoli Flyer is grade 2 winner. His stablemate was also in that field, runner-up. And he's only had 2 starts over hurdles. He's won them both easily. This is a huge step up in class. But I want to take on Lulamba, and Horace's Pearl, I think, is the most likely one.
You're going to lay Lulamba then, Steve, as well, are you?
I was toying with it.
Really.
I was toying with it.
If you had any balls, you'd lay it. You'd lay it all as well. You'd put it up as your big lay, because that is big chap.
2.32, Steve. It's and can lay at 2.38. I mean, if you're against the horse, why wouldn't you? It's a pretty obvious way to play it.
Yeah, but it's all about price, Tommy. And as you know, when you get old, your balls stop working, and I haven't got any anymore. So if he goes to sort of evens, if he goes to 2.0, then I wouldn't be against it. I think these sort of horses, they get talked up more so these days than ever as champions. You look at Constitution Hill. I was reading last night that Constitution Hill should be retired now, because obviously, I mean, it's just insane. They go from the greatest ever to that's it, all over. And Lulamba was talked up as a potential champion before he'd even run in Britain, solely because he'd run a race. He won a race impressively at Auteuil. He joined Nicky Henderson. He was in the same colours as Sergino. Nah, I think he's too short.
I don't think your balls do stop working, Steve. I feel like I really just need to.
Oh, maybe
so
I should.
I think
it sounds like a risky chance to take that.
Yeah, I feel like just if there's anybody, and there's a lot of people, Dale, Peter, Alex, lots of you, all of you, I'm presuming, have. Don't worry, I'm pretty sure they don't stop working. I think that's just how it works. So there we are.
Was unlucky.
But yeah, I agree. I think you should hit that lay button, Steve. You seem very, very anti Lulamba, and I like it. We want strong opinions, and you lit him up there, Charlie, which is what we like to hear. All right, let's move on to the 3 mile 1 furlong handicap chase. 3 going up here at prices. I've lost vision of Charlie, so Steve, I'll come to you, please. Who do you like?
I like La Milos for the Scout. They desperately need a bit of prize money, because Willie Mullins is eating into their lead in the trainers jockeys title. And La Milos, I think, is very interesting horse. A horse that I was quite puzzled why he's been running over shorter distances this season, because I always thought he was a real stayer, and he in fact ran in the Grand National a couple of years ago behind Corrick Rambler. He won the big Newbury race in November, the Gold Cup, and he's now they've decided that he wants shorter distances, and he got away with it over 2.5 at Warwick in a veterans race. It wasn't particularly competitive, but he didn't get away with it in Newbury. I think going up in distance on decent ground and over 3 miles 1, get into a rhythm up front. I think that's just what he wants. And he's on his best form. He's well handicapped. And I thought this was a very confusing race, to be honest. And okay, Meartown could take them apart, but obviously he had a hard race at Cheltenham. Obviously, he's shot up in the weights. So La Milos, I thought, was better value.
All right, I'm going to go with Happy Go Lucky. He ran really well last time. I think he's a better horse around Aintree. I mean, obviously, he came out of Cheltenham and then won at Aintree a few years ago over this course and distance. It was probably this race, was it? Or was it the novice contest? Go and check that. Yeah, it was this race. Happy Go Lucky. Obviously, Meartown being out is a big change up to the race. So that changes it a good bit. But Happy Go Lucky shaped, I thought, really well last time. Eases a pound here. I think I think Cheltenham just stretched him a little bit, I think. But obviously, previous course and distance winner, that came off £10 higher. And it's still, relatively early days in the sort of new campaign for him. His last 4 runs have been at Cheltenham, and I don't necessarily think that's absolutely his bag. So I thought he'd go pretty well. Happy Go Lucky, around about 11.0. Charlie.
Yeah, Meartown coming out has completely transformed the race, hasn't it? Because he looked like, he'd gone up 15, but he could still be massively on the upgrade. So I came down with Peaky Boy for the John Joe O'Neill team. Nick Schofield had the 2 runs over fences for Nicky Henderson, his previous trainer, pre-Christmas, and won his first start in novice handicap chase, beat Western in the Park, and then the second run over 3 miles plus, and behind Haiti Calor. That race included Transmission, Moon d'Orange. I think it was really strong form off 139. He stays off the same mark. He's then subsequently sold. You have to have 3 chase starts to qualify to run in this. So he ran in the Reynoldstown, was well beat. Now, I just wonder if that was just seen as, let's get him out, let's get the 3rd run. This is where we're going. This is the plan all along. So he was beat a long way on that. He was dropped £1 on the back of that. He's in here off a mark that he's ran very well off previously, had plenty of time since the 15th of Feb. And I just wonder if this has been a plan on the back of buying this horse for John Joe O'Neill and Nick Schofield. So Peaky Boy, 11.0.
All right, Happy Go Lucky, La Milos and Peaky Boy in that. We next come to the staying hurdle and get you some prices here. Tiupo 3.75, Kitswell stepping up in trip, looked good last time, 6.0. Home by the Lee 7.4. Strong Leader 7.8. Gwenny Mayboy is 8.6. I want to see what Jatara is if I can. This is a big old price going up. 46. There you go. Outsider just about the bunch. Steve, make the case.
Yeah, they do all run, do they? I've not noticed that Meartown was out. You must have just kept that one to yourselves. But Jatara hopefully will run, and hopefully
I just literally looked at the card, Steve. That's all I did. I just looked at the race card. It's not difficult. Have you lost your eyes as well as your balls?
You grumpy old man, honestly. What is wrong with you?
It's just unbelievable.
Anyway, I won't be
by the
grumpy.
way, sorry. Can I want everyone to be aware that the last time Steve was on the podcast, he chopped it off. So well done for that, Steve. You were absolutely brilliant.
Mate.
Genuinely. I give you a lot of stick, but credit where credit's due. You were exceptional last time. So well done. It was absolutely winners galore. It was all on the flat, I know, but yeah, you following those ratings has clearly done you proud on the flat. Anyway, take it away, Steve.
Thank you. Yeah, so I just can't have Tiupu on decent ground, and I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't run in the end. And the staying hurdle division has been very, very ordinary for a long time. I was tempted by Hidden Valley Lake. I forgive him last time because it was desperate ground, but the Ascot race he ran in behind Crambo, it's not exactly fantastic. And Jatara getting the mare's allowance, having run 4th to Lossiemouth at Cheltenham and Jaded Grugy, that's good form. And Jatara definitely wants 3 miles. When she got 3 miles, she out-battled Gatira, who cruised up to her and looked like she was going to win easily. And Jatara just kept on going. She's unexposed at 3 miles. She likes good ground. And I think in what is a division that is ripe for something coming from left field a little bit, I think Jatara is way, way, way overpriced.
Yeah, I want one on side at a price. I can't decide though, and I did write Home by the Lee-in because I want to take on Tiupu, but I've sort of taken him out. I'm a bit tied in knots in the race. So it's officially a no bet, but I can see Jatara. I could see myself come race time having a couple on side at prices. Charlie.
Yeah, I think we can all agree with that about Jatara. I think it's a good shout, as in I could definitely see that at the bigger price ones. So Steve, fair play, old boy. Yeah. Look at you smiling there. Oh, geez, lovely to see. But yeah, Kit's Ball for me. Again, I agree with what Steve says. The stay-in division is an ordinary division. I'm quite happy to take Tiupu on. Home by the Lee's disappointed in this race before. And hey, sometimes he's better off coming down with Willie Mullins. You know, the horse is 2 from 2 for him at Punchestown and Gorham Park. You know, he was good the last day in the Grade 3, beat some useful yardsticks in that race. The step up in trip is an unknown, but he looks a pretty uncomplicated horse, just travels, jumps. They've made the running with him. They've sat handy, so he's tactically versatile. They obviously think he's going to get the trip. They're probably flagging up that it's a weak division and this is a weak contest. And it just wouldn't surprise you, would it, that they go and take it out of the horse like this, that is a 5-year-old and could be one to maybe come in and dominate this sort of division.
Okay, that's the 305 done. The Liverpool Hurdle. We've got the 5 o'clock now. The Marmaid Novices Chase. Sorry, I'm sitting it out. Thought it was too tricky with Steve. I got closest to Loda Sud, and again, I think at one point even copied you and put it in. But I don't know if I do want to back at the prices, but I can see him pinging round and going and scoring. I'm just not brave enough at this stage to back him at the current price of around 2.5, I think.
Yeah, you finally admitted that you copy me. I like that. We've got it on tape now.
Guilty.
I just thought it was obvious. I thought Loda Sud ran a stormer at Cheltenham, was only mowed down really in the closing stages. Django, but it was a funny race, the Arkle. Django by coming from so far behind, Madgeborough having made that mistake, and Loda Sud I think will be suited more by Aintree in many respects. I don't think the ground is going to be much of a problem, and the record of horses that have run well in the Arkle in this race is exceptional. Only by Night is in there, but I've always thought that she might want a bit further, and with the ground and the flatter track, I think Loda Sud might just have a bit too much pace. And Loda Sud's also got cheek pieces on, which is interesting. Maybe they thought that just sharpen him up a little bit.
Charlie, make your case.
Nothing between the top two is there in the market. Loader Soon, they go for the cheap pieces. He's just a weak finisher. Now, this track might suit him, and he might be better than these, and so the finishing might not matter. But he's going to be vulnerable from the back of the last if there are a couple of them in contention. I didn't really like either of them at the prices, and so I came down with Caleb de Burle. You know, he's won his two chase starts over 2 mile. He didn't stay 2.5 behind handstands on heavy at a time where Pauls were definitely in and out. The drop back to 2 mile on good ground is interesting, and look, it wouldn't be a massively strong selection of mine, but at 5.5, I just thought he was interesting against two very nice horses, but definitely not top notches in my opinion in Loader Soon Only by Night. So Caleb de Burle.
Okay, and as I say, I'm sitting out. Couldn't decide in the Mildmay. Any other bets on the card? I'm going to back Mossy Fen Road in the bumper around about 8.0. I just wanted to take on the top two. I thought David Maxwell sort of shaped with loads of promise, I thought, in the bumper last time. I'm not convinced about the quality of the double green horse based on what he's shown so far. When did Willie last win it? I haven't checked that. Bacardi's back in 2016, but it's not like the Cheltenham bumper. Not sort of first string material for him. And I thought Mossy Fen Road was not the finished article at all at Wetherby and just would take a big old step forward for it. I'm not sure they knew exactly what to expect or what they had, but I was impressed. And I think he'll take a big old kick on for that and could be a really nice horse, to be honest. So 8.0 Mossy Fen Road, win and place. I definitely want on side. Okay, time for Matchbook Zero long shot. I think we've nailed different races as well. I'm the only one with one of the national, which is nice. Matchbook Zero goes live an hour before each race, and it's the best chance you got of enhancing your odds because there's zero margin, zero commission. So if you want to win bet, it's well worth doing. Senior Chief for me in the national. Steve, your long shot.
Well, it is Le Milos, but with the favourite coming out, if you wanted one at a much bigger price, it would be Chatal.
And Charlie.
Timmy Tuesday in the first race, the 3 mile handicap hurdle.
Okay. And best bets now. Sorry, producer Dan, I appreciate I've only just put mine in. That was very lazy of me. So hopefully we can see it on screen. It's Happy Go Lucky is who it's going to be. So that is in the 3 mile 1 furlong handicap chase, the 2:30. Happy Go Lucky for me at 11.0. Steve, yours is?
Camsinas in the opening handicap hurdle over 3 miles.
And Charlie.
Keeping the faith, Lou Lambert taking Steve on in the 2.5 mile grade 1 novice.
Oh, Steve, have you got a lay for us, Steve? Take it away, please.
Yeah, Lou Lambert would be my
Steve,
lay. If we get to 2.0 or somewhere near it, yeah. Be interesting.
Well, hang on. What price is Lou Lambert at the moment?
Well, you said it was 2.3 or something. But
okay.
when everyone sees that Charlie's best bet, then it'll probably go off odds on.
All right. So you've got a price point in there, Steve, which is around about effectively even money. Yes. If Lou Lambert's even money, you are going to be against.
I'm going to be against him anyway, but I'd lay him if it goes crazy.
Okay. Overhyped Lou Lambert, says Steve Jones. Great. Well done, everyone. Enjoyed that. Busy day for you today, Charlie, on track?
Yeah, just working for 5 Live. So I think we're on at 2 and then finish after the top. And so, yeah, the sun's shining. It's going to be a great day here.
Because I genuinely think it's interesting and we're not even at half an hour. Can you give us your Constitution Hill appraisal very quickly and concisely if you haven't done it on 5 Live already?
Yeah, as in for me, I think if I think track position was probably poor retrospectively. Being down the inside, I think he'd have been better out having options where he could ride him however he wanted to, especially on the back of what happened at Cheltenham. And then if you just watch back the approach in slow motion, like Nico's hands are down because he's had to quicken into the gap to get track position going the second last. And then you can just see a stride and a half before the hurdle. He thinks he's meeting it tight, so his hand position changes and it comes up slightly. You see the horse's head come back, and then he just does what in racing terms we call like a classic step. So he grabs out of his hands because he feels the contact on his mouth, steps straight in the middle of the hurdle. Very similar thing to what happened at Cheltenham. They've been on about loose schooling over telegraph poles and things before. That doesn't change the rider-horse empathy and the way that they're feeling each other. So they're going to have to work that out, how they ride the approach on him, because he seems to be very susceptible to doing that at the moment. And it's been coming for a while, as we've discussed previously. So back to the drawing board. Be interesting to see if they go to Punchestown with him, or they want to work more on stopping him doing that and getting them back on the same page, horse and rider.
Okay, would you go to Punchestown, Steve, or would you, they've been sort of, I think, timid with their approach to the horse in recent seasons, and now he's not making it round. They're seemingly keen to run again and run again. What would you do, Steve?
Yeah, I'd always say you run if the horse is okay, and if he comes out of it grand, then why wouldn't you? It's strange, the approach where people say, oh, they're not running these horses enough. They're not running the horses enough. And then when they say they're going to run him, they say, oh, what are they running them for? It's just can't win, can you?
And Dale wants him on side for the Arkle. So thanks, Dale. He's taken a bit of that. So good luck with that project. Can't see that happening. But there we are. It didn't happen for him yesterday. Guys, have a great Grand National Day. I hope you back some winners as well on Friday. So the podcast is out there for today's action. Racing obviously getting underway soon enough, so you can listen to that or head to Insights for a recap of all the bets for Friday, and the Insights article will be up with links to watch, listen again if you want to, or with all of our selections up there. Steve, Charlie, all the best, and good luck at the Grand National, everyone. Bye-bye.